less than 24 hours, Georgians will be under a shelter-in-place order.
McDonald, though, said he did not know the man was handcuffed and was trying to use his foot to pin him to the ground so he could be handcuffed.
If your friends, neighbors, or local organizations are not complying, report them to us.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Free Georgia Podcast. My name is Jake Green. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. Today, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Another episode on our series about Bitcoin. Today, we'll talk about some news that's been happening with Bitcoin, but also we're going to talk about just the basics of transactions and what it actually means to transact, and what the Satoshis go through and how you get from one wallet to another. Very simple. Once we explain it, if you don't get it already, you'll get it very quickly. But before that, head on over to lpgeorgia.com to learn more about the Libertarian Party of Georgia and what we're doing to spread freedom and liberty around the state. We hold events, including we just had a range day that people went out to. I was sadly out of town, otherwise I would have gone. We hold meetups all the time. We have the world's smallest political quiz. So if you don't know where you fall on the spectrum, on the political spectrum, you can take the world's smallest political quiz and see where you land. For me, it was surprising when I first took that quiz to see that I landed at the very, very tip top of that. Right in there is where I ended up landing, the most libertarian. And I, because I grew up very conservative, went a little progressive for a little bit, and then realized, oh wait, no, I'm just a libertarian. That's basically what it is. See some of the ads we've made. You can see some of our blog posts. You can get involved in a whole bunch of different ways, including registering to vote. You can run for office. You can check out Liberty Watch, which gives you an update on the legislation that is being debated and passed or struck down in the Georgia House and Senate. You can sign up for that email. It's a email that comes out every so often when things are happening in Congress, in Georgia's Congress. So make sure you go onto our website and check all that stuff out. You can also go follow us at LP Georgia on X and Libertarian Party of Georgia on Instagram. We're also on Facebook, Libertarian Party of Georgia. Very simple. So head on over to all those and you can get all of your information regarding what we're doing these days. And I'm about to have to sneeze. Wow, that came out of nowhere. All right. Let's talk about Bitcoin. The latest news. All right. So if you've tuned in to Liberty Libations or any of the episodes that I've done on this show about Bitcoin, you'll know that there are many, many, many people in positions of power who have a lot to lose by Bitcoin doing well. Okay, they have a lot to lose. They have so basically they'll do anything in their power to make sure that it is slandered, that they talk poorly about it, that they make it seem as unstable as possible. They have many strategies to make that happen. But here is one of the more ridiculous videos that I've ever seen. This is on Chinese TV. Okay, so here you go. Here you go.
Well, if Bitcoin will become the ultimate type of a form of the currency been adopted by human society, I can tell exactly what's going to happen as the worst scenario or the must scenario. We're all going to die. This is not a joke. Well, if Bitcoin...
So, according to CGTN, whoever this correspondent is or this guest is, he's saying that if Bitcoin gets fully adopted, we're all going to die. That is about the most ridiculous form of propaganda that I've ever heard. In no way, shape, or form does anything digital ever mean you're going to die. It just doesn't. The digital world is not the physical world. So those two things are very, very different. I don't know why this is so weird, y'all. Like my camera, for those watching, it wants to prioritize my mic a lot of the time and then when I don't want it to, gosh, that's so stupid. See, look at that. Look at that. I'm out of focus now. That's so weird. Get off the microphone. I don't understand. It's just a mic. It's not a head. It thinks it's like a face or a head or something. I don't really understand. There's no good spot for me to put it where it stays, it keeps the focus on me. Anyway, yeah. Just we're going to end this episode with another one, another very famous person that everyone in this country knows and many sadly revere, but many know what she actually is. So spreading more propaganda around Bitcoin, or actually kind of saying the truth, but saying the truth in a way that is supposed to get normal people to not want to adopt it or look into it or be interested in it at all. Y'all, this year in July 25th through the 27th up in Nashville will be the Bitcoin conference. Bitcoin 2024 is in Nashville. Highly, highly recommend if you want to learn about Bitcoin, if you want to mingle with other folks who are obsessed with Bitcoin and are finding ways to integrate it into everyday life, highly recommend going to this conference. I will be there. I know Brad Binkley is going there, and we're going to be shooting some stuff on the floor of the conference. So that should be really fun. There are so many things happening at this conference, including some incredible speakers. Here, you can watch. We'll watch the video real quick. Here we go. We're not going to watch we're going to watch a little bit of it. But they hold a conference like this every year.
You accepted Bitcoin for the skate park project.
We do, yeah. We have for a little while now, and I think if anyone goes outside, there's a QR code on the ramp.
I will send to Congress a bill that will make Bitcoin a legal tender in El Salvador. In the short term, this will generate jobs and help provide financial inclusion to thousands outside the formal economy. And in the medium and long term, we hope that this small decision can help us push humanity at least a tiny bit into the right direction. I entered politics to leave a legacy for my country.
All right, we're not going to continue with that because it's a 5-minute long video, completely unnecessarily long. But they hold this event every year. They've held it in Miami a bunch of years in a row, and now they're moving it to Nashville for this year. I know there's a Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam this past year. It's going to be fantastic. We have, the speakers are going to be so good. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's been a massive proponent of Bitcoin ever since he came on the presidential stage. We have Michael Saylor, who is the chairman of MicroStrategy. He is my all-time favorite proponent of Bitcoin. He is incredibly smart, intelligent. He is obsessed with Bitcoin in a very awesome way. I highly recommend you go follow him on Twitter or Instagram to really learn about Bitcoin in a way that most other people aren't as well suited for explaining things or describing what Bitcoin does or giving you very relatable ways in which Bitcoin can be used to improve your life. We got Edward Snowden, who's going to be speaking, along with a lot of other folks, including two of our very own. One, Mr. Dave Smith is going to be speaking. I don't know why it's going to say it's not found here. We're going to go to this one instead. There we go. Let's see. I believe Dave Smith is down here. Dave Smith speaking at Bitcoin Conference 2024. And then the man we all know and love, Mr. Shane Hazel, is going to be speaking at Bitcoin Conference 2024 up in Nashville. So, y'all, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to be there. bunch of other people are clearly going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. You have 4 days left before the price of a ticket goes up. Let's see, how much are tickets right now? Tickets are, a festival pass is $500, an industry pass is $2,000. And if you pay in Bitcoin, you get a discount of 21%. We paid in Bitcoin because why not? It's the Bitcoin, it's the Bitcoin conference. So we paid in Bitcoin, and yeah, y'all highly recommend coming to this. There are going to be vendors. You're going to learn a whole lot about what it means to be in a part of a decentralized network, part of the blockchain, part of a currency that can't be controlled, manipulated, taken over, shut down, inflated, can't destroy the hard work that you put in every single day. And yeah, it's just going to be a very fun time. Very, very much looking forward to it. So get your tickets now. I guess I should have shared this tab. That's my bad, y'all. Festival pass, $394 in Bitcoin, $1,579 in Bitcoin. If you pay in dollars, $500 and $2,000. If any of y'all are trying to get the whale pass, highly recommend. That's VIP pass. You get all sorts of specialized treatment, but it's $8,500. Believe it or not, I couldn't afford that. So we did not get that one. Another man who is also going to be speaking, Mr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We just watched him speak at the Libertarian Party's convention in DC, and now he's coming down to Nashville to speak at the Bitcoin conference. He too, along with Vivek, has been a huge proponent of Bitcoin since he started his presidential run. I feel like I trust Vivek a little bit more with this than I do RFK, but RFK has got a lot of great things to say, and I'm very interested to see him talk more about Bitcoin than what I've seen him talk in the past. I don't think he's given just an entire, hour-long speech on Bitcoin, at least not that I'm aware of. So hearing him launch into it and go a little deeper than he has in the past will be very interesting for me. In some other news, Saudi Arabia had their deal for the petrodollar just end. Okay, so 50 years ago, Saudi Arabia and the United States made a deal where Saudi Arabia would only sell its oil in dollars. Okay, they wouldn't do Chinese yuan, they wouldn't do euros, they wouldn't do any other currency. They would only do the petrodollar, which is the United States dollar. That deal ended yesterday. Okay, it's been 50 years, and that deal ended yesterday. They are now able to sell their oil in whatever currency they choose. They're also, they're not, I can't remember if they're actually in BRICS or if they are BRICS friendly. Okay, so BRICS is a conglomeration of countries that are starting to band together to form their own currency that is based on gold. Okay, so it's Brazil, Russia, South Africa, China, and India. Okay, so it's those five, and some more have joined along the way, but they're called the BRICS nations at this point. And Saudi Arabia has been flirting with them, if not already joined. I cannot remember at this point. Let's see. Yeah, I can't remember at this point. I should have looked that up before I started this podcast. But this has massive implications. Okay, for 50 years, the U.S. dollar has, for more than 50 years, but for the 50 years of this agreement, the U.S. dollar has been artificially propped up by the fact that Saudi Arabia was forced to do business with their oil in dollars. Okay, what that means is as soon as they stop, the value of the dollar will drop. We'll see how quickly it drops or where it drops to, but the value of the dollar will go down as a result of this. And it's already going down at a very alarming rate. The value of your dollar is dropping every day. They'll call it inflation. They'll say things are just getting more expensive. They'll blame it on corporate greed. But the reality is that they printed 40% of all the dollars ever printed in the year 2020 and 2021. And that is the definition of inflation. So if you think things are looking difficult right now when you go to the grocery store, just wait another 5 years, because it's not going to get any better. My wife and I are now employing the Jack Mallers technique. Okay, if you don't know Jack Mallers, highly recommend you go to his website, which he has an app called Strike, which is a Bitcoin transaction app. And he is also all about Bitcoin. And he is a fantastic person to follow on X and Instagram and all that. His approach is basically store all of your money in the currency that will not go down in value and spend in the currency that does go down in value. Okay, so if you need to spend stuff, if you need to pay bills, do that in dollars, but all your savings accounts should be in currencies or commodities that do not go down in value. So what he does is all of his money goes into Bitcoin, and he pays using an intermediary like BitPay. What is up with the focus of my camera? I've got to reset this thing or something, because it is very poor. It's very poor. This is way too nice of a camera to be doing this. It's infuriating me. I completely forgot where I was. I'm getting so distracted by this stupid camera. I greatly apologize, everybody. So he holds all of his money in Bitcoin, because year over year, Bitcoin goes up 50 to 100% each year. Okay, so that means each year he's getting a 50 to 100% discount on things that he needs to buy, commodities that he needs to buy, products, goods, services, all of that goes down 50%, because the amount of Bitcoin that he maintains, the value of it goes up compared to the dollar, 50% to 100% every single year. And it's a fantastic strategy. Highly recommend it. Obviously, there are times when Bitcoin takes a dip and things might be a little more difficult for a bit. But overall, if you look at the long-term trajectory of what Bitcoin has done, it always goes up. And it's not solely because Bitcoin itself is going up. It's also because the dollar, which the value of a Bitcoin is it's not correlated to the dollar, but it's always given in terms of the dollar. And the dollar is going down. And so Bitcoin is just naturally going to become more valuable because the dollar is going to become less valuable. It's a far better store of value than the US dollar, which we explained on the last episode of this Bitcoin series. And I'm blanking all over the place today, y'all. So the moral of the story is go put money into Bitcoin, and you will see a good return on it in the future. There are special bank accounts that handle these kinds of things. One is called Juno. It allows you to quickly transact or transfer your crypto into dollars and vice versa. It makes the whole process very easy. JUNO. Sadly, they're not taking new customers at this exact moment, but they will be again very soon. So go check them out. And there are other apps. There's like Cash App is the only one where you can send and receive Bitcoin. Venmo, you can only buy it and sell it, which is idiotic. I don't even know what the point of that is. So if you're going to get like PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, any of those things, I would highly recommend getting Cash App and then Strike. Strike is a fantastic app for buying and selling Bitcoin. All right. let's talk about transacting. Okay, so there are 3 steps in transacting in Bitcoin. So if you are somebody who wants to send a little bit of money to somebody or buy a service or a good from somebody, there are 3 steps to making that happen: signing, broadcasting, and confirmation. Okay, so when you click that send button on your transaction, so whatever app you're using, I use Arculus most of the time, whatever app you're using, whatever wallet you're using, by clicking send, you are signing the transaction. Okay, then the wallet that you have your Bitcoin stored in creates a transaction message. Okay, and inside that message are details about the sender, the receiver, and the amount. Okay, so it has your wallet, their wallet, and your wallet number, their wallet number, and the amount that you're trying to send. Okay, and it then creates a digital signature using your public key. Okay, so your private key is your own. If not your keys, not your crypto. We've said that on this podcast before. If you don't have the keys to your wallet and somebody else does, it is not your crypto. Okay, but then you have a public key that is used for transacting. Okay, and so these wallets will create a digital signature based upon that public key. It's just a string of letters and numbers. And that signature proves that you own the Bitcoin. Packages it all together and sends it off. Packages it all together into a file and sends it off for broadcasting. Okay, the wallet starts sending out the transaction to other computers that hold a copy of the blockchain. These computers are called nodes. That's what they're known in the Bitcoin world. They're called nodes. And you can have one of these computers that confirms these transactions. It's called mining. We've talked about it before. Mining's a misnomer, but it's called mining. Each node receives and verifies that the file is legit. Okay, they verify the funds that they actually were belonging to that wallet and the signature that came along with it, the digital signature. It is then passed on to other nodes that repeat that process. It's temporarily stored in the mem pool, which is the memory pool, for transactions that are valid but not yet confirmed. Okay. Once it's in the mem pool, the second step of broadcasting is finished. Okay. Broadcasting is done. Okay. Once it's in the memory pool, broadcasting is done. In order to see, you can check on all of this in the process of making a transaction. Okay, so you can see what's happening with transactions by going to a block explorer. In fact, I have one pulled up right here. So you can type in addresses, a transaction hash, a block hash. You can type in an address. I just typed in an old Bitcoin address that I used to have. If this thing would search, I don't know why. My internet is just really sucking right now. What the heck? All right, let's just type in this old address. There we go. Okay, so has 0, obviously. It's an old one. I don't use it anymore. But it would give you all of the confirmed transactions that came in and out of this wallet. Okay. And you can check a whole bunch of other things. You can check a bunch of statistics of Bitcoin. There's just a whole bunch of different things you can do on here to make sure that your transaction is going through. Okay. When the transaction is in the memory pool, it is not yet confirmed. If you are a business and you're trying to transact in Bitcoin, do not send out your goods or services until the transaction is confirmed, because a transaction can be rejected. It's rare that it's rejected if it's legit, but if it is rejected, it's probably not legit, a legit transaction. Okay. So if you're doing business, make sure that the third step, which is confirmation, happens before you exchange your goods or services for this Bitcoin. Miners group the transactions together into a block of transactions. Okay. A transaction is confirmed when a miner is able to put their block into the blockchain. There's a whole lot of computing power that goes into confirming transactions and getting a block into the blockchain. And generally speaking, the more powerful the computer, the easier it is for it to be able to slide its block into the blockchain, and it just keeps on building. Okay, so the blockchain just keeps on building over and over again. And once that block that contains your transaction goes into the blockchain, you get one confirmation. Okay, and then every single time a new block is put in, it confirms all the old transactions, which means you get more confirmations. Okay, the general rule is you want to wait for at least 6 blocks to be put on before you can rest easy and know that your Bitcoin has been transferred completely. But generally, once it's confirmed, it's pretty well documented that you're going to be fine. But I would generally wait for at least 6 blocks just to be sure. And it's that simple, y'all. You type in a wallet address into your app, or you scan a QR code, and then you just click send. It's that easy. It will get there. And it's gotten there for me in 10 seconds. I've transferred a lot of Bitcoin before, and it got there in less than a minute. So it is far more efficient than any bank. It will get your money where it needs to go without any intermediaries, just a bunch of computers all over the world confirming your transactions. It's just that simple. And it's revolutionary in so many ways. And it takes out that middleman. It allows you to transact in a currency that cannot be manipulated, is not controlled by governments, and cannot be inflated, which those are extremely important things when you're talking about the store of the value of your labor. Okay. You worked hard for that money. Don't let the government take it from you through the evil tax of inflation. It's that simple. They're printing out all those dollars that you work for, that you slave away for, that you get up every morning, you go to your 9 to 5, you're sweating, you're stressed, you're whatever it is you do for work. All of those dollars that you earn, the government just goes and prints them. Just whenever they need them, they just print them out of thin air. They don't do any work for them. You work for yours. And by them just printing them, they devalue the dollars that you work for. And ultimately bring you to a state where groceries are extremely unaffordable. It's evil. It's just plain evil. With that, let's watch this last video of everyone's favorite, Hillary Clinton, talking about the terrors of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger. So when we think about this new environment in which we find ourselves that we've been discussing for the last some minutes, we can't just think about nation states.
Okay. So, I mean, so many lies in that video. First of all, if it's going to destabilize a nation, it's going to be a large nation. Okay, it does the opposite to small third world nations. So just look at El Salvador. El Salvador was one of the murder capitals of the world. It was going in a horrible direction. Bitcoin became their currency, and now it is one of the most stable places on earth. It is a threat to the dollar because the dollar is based on nothing except military might. Okay. We enforce our dollar around the world through our military, who is in a whole bunch of places that it should not be in. And so she just full on lied and said that it will destabilize third world nations, poorer nations. Incorrect. It will enrich those nations. Those are going to be the first nations that will adopt Bitcoin. And El Salvador is proving that. What else did she say? She said something else stupid. Oh, she said literally mining. No, it's not literally mining. It's the term is mining, but it's not literally mining coins to trade. The way she talks about crypto is the way somebody who has no idea what crypto is talks about crypto. They know crypto is bad, but they have no idea how to explain it. So in essence, they're dummies and wrong and don't pay attention. What else did she say? Let's watch it again. Sorry.
Start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger. So when we think about this new environment in which we find ourselves that we've been discussing for the last some minutes, we can't just think about nation states.
Yeah, so she's incorrect in every way. It is a threat to the dollar, but it's only because the dollar is based on nothing. If the dollar was based on gold, Bitcoin really wouldn't be a threat. Bitcoin would be its own currency, and they would both succeed. But where gold can't be transported over great distances instantly, Bitcoin can. So Bitcoin has some major advantages over gold. But if the dollar had stayed pegged to the gold and the Federal Reserve had never come into existence, we might not even be having to have this conversation. Bitcoin is the solution to the inflationary problems that we're experiencing today. It's the solution to freedom, financial freedom for everybody who uses it. It's time to get on the train, y'all. Highly recommend. Look into it. Watch these videos. Watch a million other videos. Go watch Michael Saylor and Jack Mahler's talk about it. Robert Breedlove, Shane Hazel. All these guys are far more invested and intellectual and easier to understand than perhaps I am. I have just begun educating people on Bitcoin, so I'm not a leader in the space whatsoever. That would be Michael Saylor, Robert Breedlove, all those guys. Go check them out. They have a ton of great information. And send people here as well if they're in Georgia, because I am happy. I said this last episode. Whoever needs help setting up wallets, figuring out transactions, if you want personal one-on-one attention, one-on-one help, I'm happy to get on the phone with you. I'm happy to come to your house. I'm happy to meet you somewhere and we can talk about it and I can walk you through the steps, because it will be worth it. It will be worth it. It will make you wealthier and more free in the long term if you start investing in Bitcoin now. So that's it for today, y'all. Go check out lpgeorgia.com to learn more about the Libertarian Party of Georgia. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace.